What is up, players? It is WarbossTae up in his mug. Welcome to a video review and unboxing of the Gaunt Summoner of Tzeentch. This guy is a pretty cool looking model. I've got the cover here. Now, the reason why I've unboxed and opened it already is because I wanted to show you all one of the coolest things that you get in this kit. The clamshell plastic package that comes on the back of this thing. So when you slice it open, you get your frames, you get your base, and you also get this handy dandy plastic shell, which is perfect for a wet palette. And again, I cannot stress enough how important a wet palette is to painting, and especially for beginners or intermediate level painters. All you do is you take this clamshell, could be any plastic clamshell from any single figure kit, or usually any single blister will have one of these. Fill the bottom with water, not too much, just enough to line the bottom, and then either use a paper towel. Very important, do not use Kleenex, do not use a napkin because it's way too absorbent. A paper towel, or even better, a parchment paper, slice of parchment paper. Put that bad boy right on top, let it soak through, and you have the perfect wet palette for painting. You put your paint on it right out of the pot, and it makes it flow really nicely. It keeps it usable for a very long time. One of the best tools that I can recommend, and you can make it very, very simply. You don't have to pay $10, $20, $30 to the different modeling manufacturers to make one. Alright, but today we're talking about this guy, the Gaunt Summoner of Tzeentch, and what a beautiful model. It is one of the few models, I think, that I really immediately got behind when I saw it released. I thought it's just fantastic. I don't know, 3 arms? He's got 3 arms, 2 on the right, one holding a dagger, one holding his staff, and one on the left holding this open book. He's got that eyeless, screaming face, which is just horrifying and wonderful. And he's got all these little eyeballs sticking out of his helmet. Nice, beautiful transitions on his robes there. And then he's riding one of those discs. So one of the first things I noticed was that this disc is not attached to the base with one of those plastic flying rods for their flying creatures. And so I think it's interesting. We'll see how it works out, but this seems to be the more common sense way to go, especially with a chaos figure where you can have crazy little tongues of warp fire, flame, balefire, whatever. So I think as a design aesthetic, that's a good call not to go with the standard plastic flying base. All right, let's take a look at the model. This is a video also for one of my subscribers here on YouTube, one of my patrons on Patreon, and one of my clients for WarbossTae Studios, Jacob. So I hope you like this video, Jacob, and I hope that it gives you some good insight on the model. I'm also going to be doing a tutorial for him on how to paint one up for anybody who wants to paint one for their army or just to have one in their collection. So immediately you've got your round base and you've got 2 small frames that come in the kit. Let's take a look at them. On the first frame, I can see the flying base here, his book, what looks to be little, what is this, little, like, tentacle things? Those look like, oh, his feet? Okay, yeah, it's his feet. Weird, upside down. There you go. The back of the book is just so awesome, and no one's probably going to see this unless you pick up the model and flip it upside down, but that looks really, really cool. There's his torso piece there, or the back, rather. Nice sculpting on the armor plates. There's his helmet. Screaming face. Ah! Blades for the disc. And, oh, this is really cool. The disc is this the bottom of the disc? They look like hands. I guess so. That's very interesting, with little bubbly mutation things there. The other frame most immediately has the disc there, which you could see lots of teeth, lots of cool detail sculpted on. You can tell which parts are meant to be solid, either metal or bone or whatever, and the other part that's very mutable and constantly shifting. This reminds me a lot of the John Blanche artwork from the 90s. Really fantastic craziness there. And on the back you've got like the underside of a mushroom looking deal. Gross. On the back of him he's got some feathers, little spiky bits. Here's his torso, beautiful body piece combined together, so all you have to do is slap the back on. Hear my baby termagant barking in the background. And you've got some spikes. Here's the front of the staff, and it's also got his secondary arm holding the dagger. And that's it. So I'm gonna put together the model. Now, whenever you put together one of these models and assemble them, you want to definitely follow the back of the clamshell pack. One thing that I had not done was, wait, is this the end of it? Was follow the one for the Necromancer, and poor Lewis came out all janky. Was not good. Okay, so why is that number 5? Where's the rest of it? Is it in here? I'll figure it out. Scan Q. Oh, that's cool. You can scan the QR code here for the War Scroll for this guy. Very cool, Games Workshop. Way to get into the 20th century, 21st century, I guess. Where's the? How do you put them together? 2, 4, 5. All right, I feel like I'm missing something. Like this is supposed to pull open. Or something. I'm trying to unlock the secrets of this guy. Here we go. It's a booklet. That's pretty cool. All right, so I'm gonna follow. This is really nice because I don't think I've seen a clamshell pack instruction as detailed as this, which is good because this is a very tricky model. I don't think you could fit it all into one single sheet like that. I like how they have color-coded everything, so you can see where everything goes. Step by step, you want to follow them in order, like I said, or else you'll come out with a very janky, unhappy model because things have already dried and you realize there are pieces you have to glue that should have gone under, pieces you've already glued, all sorts of stuff like that. So I'm going to put this guy together. We'll come right back through the magic of the internet and we will see what the finished model looks like. All right, we are back. Welcome back, everybody. I have the finished Gaunt Summoner here, ready for viewing, ready for painting. And what a great model. I think when you actually have a model built up in your hands and you're ready to put some paint on it, that's when you really notice all the things that kind of bug you when you see the model in the pages of a White Dwarf, or when you see it and you don't really, all you see is a price tag. Actually having the model, putting it together, seeing how it goes together is really, really fun. The model is actually arching his back a little bit and leaning, I guess, leaning forward, or his, look at the angle of his body. He's kind of pushing his chest forward, and I guess it's almost like when you're riding one of those segways and his head is tilted back a little bit. There's a little bit of an arch. When you see the model in the pages of the White Dwarf, you don't really notice that. So when I'm putting him together, and it's like I'm putting on his head, and I think that you can just barely see his tongue popping out through his face there. And that's actually a part of the torso. When you put the head on, the mouth is open, there's a little gap there, and you're putting the headpiece onto the torso, and that tongue just slots right into that spot. So it's going to be so much fun to paint. I really, really love anything chaos is always fun to paint, and just a beautiful model. Some things that I thought were funny also is that he's not really standing on the disc. Before, the old model, the metal model, had the Sorcerer of Tzeentch standing on the disc, but he's actually floating above it just a little bit. There are these wispy magical tentacle things coming out around him, that those are attached to the base, but you can kind of barely see his feet. He's kind of lifted up and his feet are just kind of dangling there, and he's being held aloft. And I think that's a great design choice. Instead of just standing on his disc like surfing, he's being held aloft by magic. And they slot right into the depression in the center of the disc really, really nicely. And yeah, it's just really beautiful. If I was going to build and paint another of these guys and I wanted to actually be able to reach everything without having to strain too much, I might keep the Sorcerer separate from the disc and paint the disc separately, because you see I might have a little bit of a hard time getting in there, hitting all those teeth. Another fun thing is that the blades here are really, really funny, because on the instructions, they're numbered 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. But when you look at the sprues, they're all numbered 13. So it's probably just to keep things simpler. The last thing I love are these hands, these little appendages coming down from the side. I think that's just so great and creepy, very Kingdom Death looking. and it's a beautiful model. So thanks for watching. Thank you for Jacob to him, because he's the one who kind of requested it, and he's one of my patrons on Patreon. So he requested this video as one of his rewards for being a patron of me there. If you'd like to see me do a video on something specific, a tutorial or an unboxing or anything, then please check it out and consider becoming a patron of my studio. I'd really, really appreciate it. Hope you guys are having a great day, and we'll see you in the next video. Laters!